Right, we're rolling. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this, Marines. Yes, boys. And maybe girls. We're here. We're on the YouTube. This has been asked of me for the longest time. And I just kept putting it off. I was like, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. People get asking, like, get a YouTube up, get YouTube up. But it probably just wasn't the right time. But now, with what it's probably a bit of like imposter syndrome. If anybody knows me, I've got like really bad imposter syndrome. So until, like, for me, like, seeing is believing. So until I see something come to fruition, even though in my head I believe it, I still doubt myself quite a lot. So after being nagged, pleaded, begged to get on the YouTube, we're here. Let's just do it, man. It's funny because I put out a story on Instagram saying that people need to stop trying to wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment will never come. And just do the thing. Like, you can plan and you can forward think all you want, but until you do the thing and then keep doing the thing, you'll never do it, or you'll never get better at it. So this for me is like totally out of my comfort zone, but nothing ever grows in the comfort zone, as people say, as cringe as that is. So I thought, what a better way to start the YouTube. I'm not going to give it some like gimmicky one-liner to open every video. That's not me. The whole premise of YouTube is I want to give people an insight into me, my thought process on how I do things, where I'm at, what I'm doing, and where I'm going. And it's not going to be any fancy bullshit like 20,000 calorie videos and like stupid 1-rep maxes and all this clickbait stuff. This is a YouTube where I want to get across my personality as a bodybuilder, because I am very much a bodybuilder, but I do have a lot of personality alongside that. And I think in the Instagram following I've got, as great as it is, I just can't bring that across. So I think the YouTube is going to be the best option for me. And I am more than just dumbbells and chicken. There's a lot more to me than meets the eye, and the people that know me will know that. So that is what the plan is. It's going to be very much like Sam Sulek-esque. It's going to be very raw, very real. I want to show the real side of what it takes to be an athlete, and to progress and to pursue something. This is something that I've been doing now since 2018, pursuing a pro card in the IFBB. I've been in the gym since I was 16. I'm now 30, which is really scary to think, to be honest. But being in the gym, being on the gym floor for 14 years, I've gathered a lot of knowledge, anecdotally and educational wise, from forums, YouTube, coaches, asking my peers, asking my mentors. And that's something now I feel like I've got enough to give back to other people. And that's what I want to do with this platform, is I want to be able to give back and help people, motivate people, inspire people, but also be relatable, because I'm just a normal lad at the end of the day. I'm a normal 30-year-old lad who's just got a real strong passion for achieving something and being more than what the path is set out to be, or believe that the path is set out to be. I think that everybody's got the ability to be way more than that. So that's what I'm here to do. So without getting too serious, the first video, I think the best way to start this whole thing, because there's going to be people that come here that maybe haven't followed me for a long time. They don't know me that well. They don't follow me on Instagram. So I think the best thing to do here is explain who I am, what I do, where I'm from, how old I am, and what my competitive journey's been from 2018, like right the way up to 2025, which is obviously when this has been filmed. So like I said, I am 30. I've been training since I was 16, but anybody knows like that age from, or that period when you're 16, at least when I was coming up, it wasn't like it is now. Like 16-year-olds now, they are, you're in a very fortunate position. You're in a time where there's so much readily available information. Like when I was coming up at the time, the aspiration and what I was looking to become wasn't a bodybuilder. It was Jeff Side, it was Ziz, it was like Matt August. It was all like more fitness influencers than it was bodybuilders. And then bodybuilding naturally was the progression that I just ended up falling into. So for me at 16, it was just going in the gym to look good and to feel good. And then once I got in there, it was just a case of like, I just got bit, and I was just addicted to like progress and learning about nutrition, learning about training. And I would just like end up separate myself from anything that wasn't that. Like I just literally from the get-go naturally just pulled myself into like doing my own thing and being my own person. Like rather than following the crowd, like I would just end up doing like what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. The boys were back. Shock, the door went. The one time I've been trying to do this video all day and the door goes for a delivery now. So yeah, like I said, I literally at 16 just separate myself from everything and anything that wasn't gym related, and I just got sucked into the world of like YouTube fitness had just come about at the time. It's like 2011, you had like Matt August, the Hodge twins, you had like Scooby, Louis Marco, those type, like anybody's watching this will probably know, like that was what the thing was, like that was what it was. So that's where I fell into. And I remember watching like Louis Marco on YouTube, and he was kind of like the Nick Trigili back then. Like he would report on bodybuilding all the time, but it wasn't that positive, because he was a big fan of like Flex Wheeler, Kevin Neroni, and he'd report on people like Kai Green, Phil Heath. And I'd see these videos of these massive bodybuilders and I'm like, nah, like that's not me. Like, nah, that's too big. I don't want to look like that. And you remember he used to talk about like bubble gut bonanza and all this. So it's when these massive bodybuilders were starting to get penalised, and he kind of thinks he was the driver for it, that they were getting penalised for the midsections being way too blown out. And I was agreeing with him. I was like, yeah, this is awful. Then he would put videos on of like Flex Wheeler, Kevin Neroni. I'm like, that's really more like my idea, but that's still way too big. So I was still hooked on being a fitness model influencer, but bigger than cover models. Like it was a bit more advanced, more like just a gym bro basically. And then between the ages of like 16 to 23, I was in the gym, I was training, I was learning about training. At the time it wasn't high intensity, low volume, like that wasn't the thing. It was all about just high volume, like 10 to 12, 8 to 12, 10 to 15 reps of 4 sets. Like that's just what it was at the time. We hadn't got the Dorian Yates hit mentality, hadn't come on the scene at that point. So that was me from 16 to 23. And in that period, did quite a lot of partying, as you do. And I'm glad I did. I'm really glad at like 18, 19, 20, 21, I kind of got that out of my system. I think a lot of lads now, a lot of young lads, maybe will fall into where I am now at 30 when they're 16, 17, 18, and they don't get to experience that part of life. And I think it's quite crucial that people don't get to experience that, because I think you should. And the reason why I think you should is, well, one, you're still young, but also two, like you don't want to then get to your late 20s or early 30s and then start doing all that, because at that point you've probably got some responsibilities, and really you start peaking in bodybuilding between late 20s and mid 30s really. So I'm glad I got that out of the way. And then I got to like 2017, I was like 22, and I started getting down the recreational drug side of things, and things just started to spiral from there. Luckily for me, I am able to catch myself when things like that happen. So I did. Someone reached out to me quite close to me at the time, and they said, look, this bodybuilder that you used to tell me about is taking on coaching slots. And at the time, that was a guy called Owen Powell. He was, at the time, in my opinion, the only classic physique in the UK. Like, he was classic physique before Chris Bumstead, honestly. I don't know if I can get a photo shot up here from Matty, but like, Owen Powell was just my idea of like, that's what I want to look like. It was weird. It was like an overnight transition. I just wanted to start looking like this guy, and it was mad. It was like I was watching all of the old school videos. I was watching Louis Marco, and that was all happening. It must have just been a maturity thing over time. Like in my head, it just happened. And then he started offering coaching slots, and I was like, right, this is my way out. This is my way out of a time where things were getting a bit dark and I was in a bit of turmoil. So I was like, right, bodybuilding now can actually pull me out of this rut, and it did. So late 2017, signed up with Owen, first coach, didn't know what to expect. And at the time, you need to remember, like at the time, coaching wasn't like it is now. Like coaching still wasn't really that big in 2017, 2018. It was still very much under the radar. It was still a very niche thing. Whereas now everybody's a coach, everybody's got a coach. and it's all over Instagram, and that wasn't the case at the time. Like anybody from around that period who was bodybuilding will understand, like 2017 coaching wasn't in your face, it just wasn't. So I worked with Owen, and he was like, look, you've got potential, I can see it in your muscle insertions, I can see it from your work ethic that you could actually do something with this, like we should compete in 2018. I was like, To be fair, I always said if I was going to compete, I wanted to do it by the time like no later than 25. I wanted it to be my first competition, and I was 23. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with a coach, somebody who knows or somebody who's been there and done that. So like, right, let's do it. F it, let's do it, let's go. So we did a prep 2018, competed in the September of 2018, and that was with the PCA. So I did the PCA London 2018, that was like September the 30th or something. Like every year I've competed, right? It's been around September, literally every year since I've done 5 seasons, and every year has been around September. So we did that show, and I was 23 at the time, and I could have done, it could have been my last year in junior bodybuilding if I wanted to. And the lads there, it was funny, we're all still competing now, and the lads in juniors at the time was like, Jay Maid, really good friend of mine, Ginger Training, Josh, he was there, Brandon Harding, he was there, there was a couple of other lads as well, but I stuck myself in Classic because that was just where my heart was. I loved the Flex Wheelers, the Leela Bradas. Like Classic was just instantly where my love fell, but it was only men's Classic. So I was like, you know what, I'm very much like, if I'm going to do something, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to jump in, I'm just going to do it. So we did men's Classic at the PCA, and I got 6th out of 12, which wasn't bad. I wasn't in anywhere near what I consider stage condition now, but at the time that was my idea of being lean. And that was a prep where I was doing, you know, an hour's cardio in the morning, 45 minutes post-workout. I was eating 50 grams of carbs a day. Like, I've been there and done that, and it was a slog. And I'm glad I did it on my first one, because that really taught me the discipline and the militant mindset that it takes. Sometimes you do have to do that, unfortunately. Like, it is what it is. I think nowadays we're sold this like dream that everybody gets to do a prep on 8k, 10k steps and 600 grams of carbs, and that's it, and then you get refed every other week. Not always going to be the case, I'm afraid, especially when you're young, especially when you're new. You've got that brown fat, that puppy fat, and that needs to come off. You will not look like a 30-year-old seasoned competitor in your first season unless you're some wild genetic freak. Like, you've got thick fat that's been there and it's never come off. So that was 2018, and that was it. I'm a big believer in, when you do a show, when you do a prep, it's like Marmite, you either come off stage and you're like, let's go, like, let's do it again, let's do it now. Or you come off and you're like, it just goes the other way. And luckily for me, I went this way. I went to the way that was like, this is it now, this is it for me. This is where I'm meant to be. Like, everything I do is on my own. It only requires my own input. What I put in, I get out. I don't have to rely on anybody else. And, you know, I'm quite an introverted person, so this is perfect for me. Like, this whole world is brilliant. And your physique reflects the effort that you put in. So I was like, right, this is it, perfect. So my next season was planned to be 2020. So I stayed with Owen for a bit, and then I left him and did my own off season. Got way too fat, but at the time I was on the JP forums. So anybody who knows the JP forums at the time, they were like the hot thing. So I learned tons and tons of stuff on there. That's where I met Riz, and I met Dan Bastic, and I met Hilly through those forums. So 2020, I was planning to do a season in 2020, and then obviously the big C happened. We won't talk about that. So that got scrapped. And at the time I was working with Anth Bales, because Anth owned Max Muscle, which was the gym I was training at. So anybody who knows Anth, amazing UK British beef bodybuilder. Like, he was the first ever professional bodybuilder I'd seen in the person. So I was like, this guy, he knows his stuff, he's been there, he's done it. And Ant's really good friends with Dorian Yates. He had all of Dorian Yates' old logbooks, his old notes from when he competed. So I was like, right, Ant knows everything about training, nutrition, supplementation, anabolics. Like, I need to learn from this guy. So I worked with Ant, we put a plan in place, and we decided to compete with the NPC Two Bros for the first time in 2021. So Two Bros, for anybody who doesn't know, is the UK's NPC promoter, and obviously your road to IFBB. So I was like, look, my only goal is to turn IFBB pro. Why am I competing with the PCA? Not that it's a bad federation, but it's not going to ultimately get me to where I want to be. So it's like, right, I need to be with two bros. I need to compete with I need to compete with two bros and in the NPC. So the show that we picked, 2021 was the show. It was the show of the season. It was the biggest one. It was the Graftism Grand Prix. I'll get some photos put up if I can. If I can't, I apologise. So did the Graftism, and at the time, Kuba had like all of his coaching team, and the show was mad busy. It was crazy, but it was brilliant because first time competing with NPC, and nobody wants to go into a show where there's nobody there. Like, you don't want that, do you? Really, let's be honest. So my class, I was Classic Physique Class B for anybody that doesn't know. So Classic has 4 classes ultimately. You've got A, B, C and D, all height dependent. So B is where I sit. So B and C are usually like the busiest classes. So I'm 173.5 centimetres, so I'm 5'8" and a bit. Write that down. I'm not that short. And I'm very close to 5'9". I will have to invert myself this year to get into that next weight bracket, otherwise I ain't doing Classic. So we did that show, the Graftism, competed against Dom Kirby. He was in the show. He was in my class. He came second. AJ, he was in that class. It was where I met my boy Yemi for the first time. Kaya was in that show as well. It was mad. It was stacked. Like, anybody who knows those names knows those boys they're not to be laughed at. There's some big names in the UK. So that was my first NPC show, and that was when I came away with my first W. So this is the first win, second show, second season, first win, and first show with NPC, and it wasn't a quiet show. So that really gave me the confidence to be like, yeah, I can do this now. I can do this. Again, I'll try and get some stage shots put up, but I think this medal's pretty cool. So yeah, won that class. It was like a class of 10 or 12, and then went into the overall with Kaya for class A, Yemi for class C, and then there was another lad for class D. Kaya took the overall, rightfully so. He was like massive, and I wasn't anywhere near big enough looking back. There's some funny photos of me and Yemi stood at the side just like, but you know, especially Yemi, he redeemed himself. Now he's qualified for the Olympia. But after the Graftism, we went on to do the first UK Arnold, which looking back I was not ready at all. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And at that show, that was when I first seen Valentin. Anybody who knows Valentin knows he's an absolute unit. He stripped off at weigh-ins, and I was just like, oh, man, like, this guy's huge, like way bigger than me. But I thought, yeah, I've got the structure, maybe I can, you know, edge it somehow, but nah. So I didn't get a medal, only top 5 got a medal, but obviously I got my badge. So I got 11th out of 22 people or 23 people there. So I was like second call out, like slap bang in the middle. And that was a humbler, but again, I needed that. I needed that humbling to realise I'm not good enough yet, and I've got a lot of work to do. So that was a really good season with Anth. I then moved away from Anth and I joined Kuba after that season because I'd seen how Kuba had handled his athletes, and I was really impressed by that. And again, I wanted to learn. Like, don't see leaving a coach as like somebody's done something wrong or you're coach hopping, or, you know, sometimes it's good because you get to pick people's brains. That's how I see it, like picking people's brains, learning and trying different methods, and that's all it was. So I did a full 18-month off season with Kuba. I packed on a lot of muscle. It was a really good off season. Kuba taught me a lot when it comes to training methodologies, accuracy, high intensity, low volume training, as did Anth, by the way. That's when I started to learn really about the HIIT training. Nutrition, the importance of routine, sleep, all of that. Like, anybody who knows Kuba knows he's super militant. He's a fucking phenomenal coach and a phenomenal athlete. And then when it came to my next season, which was 2023, so I took all of 2022 off, and I went into 2023 season. I did about 4 weeks of prep with Kuba, and I then moved from Kuba to Jake Watt to Amplified Nutrition. And this was because, again, nothing bad. It was just that when we got into the prep, Kuba went from like an off season that was very back and forth, a two-way street, and it went into the prep and it was very much a, you know, kind of, this is what you're doing. And looking back now, I understand why he did that, because he had so much more knowledge than me. And at the time, I felt like it was not the right thing. But looking back now, I understand why, and he gets his guys absolutely peeled. So I do look back and think I should have given Kuba that. I should have given Kuba that season because it was rightfully his, and I would have liked to have seen what the luck would have done. But nevertheless, made that decision, moved to Jake, and this is where I did my last 2 seasons was with Jake. Again, Jake, awesome coach, unbelievable, very personal, very committed to the cause. He goes above and beyond for all of his athletes. Like, he's at every show all the time, travels the world. He pours everything into it, and he definitely did when I was working with him. And I eventually, won everything that you're about to see now with Jake. And I, owe Jake a lot for how I am as an athlete and where I got to. So we moved into 2023 season. And this is where Jake had his first ever 2-bro show. So as a coach or even as an athlete, you can actually sponsor shows and it will become, your named show. So Jake had the Amplified Nutrition show, which I believe was in August 2023, and this is the first season for me where I ever came in truly conditioned, like what I would consider like true stage condition. Like, I took it all the way there. First time I had like striated glutes, the first time that I had like feathering in my quads, vascularity everywhere. Like, it was a really good season, a really good look, and it was the first time I managed to ever take it there. And I finally got that like brown fat off. So went into the Amplified Nutrition show. I can't for the life of me think who I came up against now, and I really apologise because it was a very good show. But did the Amplified Nutrition show, classic Class B. Obviously coming off the back of 2021, I was like, right, I won my class and I didn't get the overall. So for me now, the next step as an amateur bodybuilder is to win an overall. That's what my goal is this year. It's obviously to try and turn pro, but let's not jump the gun. Let's take it in steps. And I think this is where people lose sight as an amateur. They just think, right, you win a class, let's win a pro card. It's like, well, slow down. There's loads more steps there that you can do. You can win a class, you can win an overall, then you can go to a pro qualifier, place top 3, win your class, get into the overall, then start. You just got to work your way up in small steps, man. Like, stop jumping the gun and stop rushing your amateur journey, because I've heard it from so many pros that they're like, your amateur days are some of the best days of your whole competitive career. So don't rush it, guys. Like, don't rush your amateur competitive career. So yeah, August 2023 did the Amplified Nutrition, and again, your boy took home first. So yeah, very happy with that look. Won the class. Again, I'm sorry, I can't remember for the life of me who I came up against in that class, and there was some good names in it as well. But took the dub, which is cool. So I'd already achieved that, but now it was to go into the overall and try and win that, which was my goal, and that did come true. So I did win this. I don't know, is it a sword or is it a dagger? I'm not really sure. But yeah, man, won my first overall. Amplified Nutrition Classic. You probably can't read that from there, but I was honestly gassed. Like, anyone who's seen the videos, like, I dropped to my knees. Like, I know people might think it's over the top exaggerating, but when you put so much effort into something and it comes true. And again, at the time, I still had a lot of imposter syndrome. Like, I came up in that overall against James Murphy, who's now in super heavyweight, and I came up against Mark Enzone, who's an IFBB pro. So these boys were not, they weren't again to be laughed at. These were some big names. But yeah, I took home the overall, which I was absolutely gassed with. And that gave me like loads of momentum going into that season, into the pro qualifiers. So after that show, we had lined up was the True Athlete. Now, the True Athlete was in partnership with Sharu, who I believe is like a promoter from India, does a lot of big shows in India. So the True Athlete was 2 weeks later. Now, this was a big show that a lot of people, again, were competing at. And I knew it was going to be very hard, but also it was an international pro qualifier. So there was going to be people coming from all over the world. And these are the things that you guys who are new might not understand is you're not going to compete at international pro qualifiers against just the lads you've just competed against. There's going to be people coming from all over Europe, potentially Asia, potentially America that you don't know about. So don't go into these international pro qualifiers like Jack the lad thinking, well, I've just beat all these and I've won an overall, so that's me guaranteed to win a pro card. Like, it's not how it works. And that was the case at the True Athlete. So True Athlete, massive show. and it was against, basically, it was against me and this Spanish lad. And I remember battling against him on stage, and when we come off, we knew it was just me and him, first and second. Centre stage, they could have done a two-man call-out if they really wanted to, but we knew it was just us two for the win. And I got backstage, and his girlfriend must have bought a backstage pass, and I remember standing, pumping up, ready to go back on to do routines. And they were stood together, like, talking about me, because they were, like, scouring me up and down. I was just thinking, like, come on, man, like, that's not sport. And I'm a big sportsman. It just wasn't a vibe. Wasn't happy with that, but it is what it is. So we did the True Athlete, and at that show, I came away with the second place. So he did beat me, rightfully so. I'll never argue a placing. You know, it is what it is. The judges always call it right. At the time, I was gutted, obviously, but, you know, that was the first time at a pro qualifier I had placed podium finish, let alone second. So that, from the Arnold Classic in 2021, was a big step up. So that in itself is a win. Obviously, I was gutted at the time, but that in itself was a big, big win. So, yes, I was gutted, but if you're to take away the silver lining, that's the step up from 2021. So then after that, 2 weeks later, we had the pro qualifier in Norway. Now, this wasn't planned, but Jake said, look, you've just took second at the True. Let's just give it another run. Like, let's not shut it down. So I was like, right, let's go to Norway. Let's do it. So first time competing abroad, internationally, brilliant experience. I advise anybody to do it. It's a totally different experience. And it's all about, like, networking, guys. Like, it's not just about competing and getting on stage. It's about making friends, meeting judges, putting your face out there. Like, there's so much more to competing than just getting on stage and doing the do. Obviously, that's what you're there for, but you need to put your name in people's mouths. You need to get your face out there. You need to be seen to be really trying. And you need to get in front of different judges as well, because every judge is going to judge you differently. I've competed in front of, you know, Olympia judges, Tyler Mannion, Jack Sullivan, Maz Ali. Like, I've competed in front of some, like, top level US judges. So went to Norway, totally different experience in a different country, but it was brilliant, and I'm really glad I did it. And at this show again, so Jack Sullivan judged the True, Jack Sullivan judged Norway, so it was the same head judge. So I thought, well, at least he knows me, and if I've made any improvements, which he asked me to be a little bit leaner, he'll see them. And I definitely did come in leaner to that show. So in that show again was between me and another lad who was Scandinavian. And I'll be honest, like, I was looking at this kid and I was like, yeah, I've got the win. I've definitely got the win in the class. Then it's on to the overall. But that wasn't to be. So always expect the unexpected. So yeah, came away with the second place there. Again, was I gutted? Yes. Again, not going to argue it. I am a sportsman, and what the judges say is final. Even he said, though, the kid who beat me, he grabbed me as we walked off stage. Well, after we got off stage, walking back to the backstage. And he was like, how did I beat you? And I was like, it's bodybuilding, that's what it is, man. Like, you're obviously better. And Jack's seen the best physiques in the world, so he knows what he's looking at. So I got second there. So as a season, that was really productive. Like, class win, overall win, and then 2 seconds in 2 pretty good pro qualifiers. Like, the classes were at least double figures, like at least 10 people in each. So I was happy with that. Gutted, but happy. And that left me with a fire in my belly. Like, there's no better feeling than chasing that white rabbit. Like, chasing that white rabbit with the fire in your belly gives you the drive that you didn't know really existed. So I came away from the competitive season 2023. I was like, right, this is it now. Like, balls to the wall. I ain't slowing down. I ain't stopping. I'm actually going to get faster. I'm going to get better. So went into a very short off season because I didn't have a lot of weight cap in Classic. I had like 3 or 4 kilos. So I had to just get to work, do it, and then get back into the season in 2024, which is what we did. So still with Jake at this point, 2024. Again, I always pick the busy regionals, which is good. I don't ever want to do quiet shows. I don't want to try and, you know, like, find my way around or get through loopholes. Like, I want to do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big. Like, I want to win. So did the Race at Royal Rumble in 2024. And this season, like, this condition was another step up from 2023, because I'd already got that baby fat, that brown fat off in 2023 even more. So 2024 was a really good grainy look. Like glutes was stripped. Like again, if I get some photos up, I will. Like glutes was stripped, hamstrings were in. Like there was a lot of pressure on me. And my name was getting thrown about a lot in 2024 to be in the running for a pro card, and that pressure was a lot, but it was fun and it kept me on my A game. So we went into the race at Royal Rumble, and we got the dub. So that is 3 for 3 with regional class wins. It's all I know. It's all I know right now. So yeah, got the win at the race trick. My boy Sam Tatham come in second. Love that kid. It was a lot of fun that season because we follow each other on Instagram. Our names were getting put around a lot about who's going to win, Sam or Joe, Sam or Joe. And we just laughed. Like, we were just messaging each other like, this is just fun. Like, this is just two lads, two normal lads having fun. And we would just make jokes on Instagram saying like, yeah, your glutes are looking a bit soft, or, you know, you better be working or whatever. So yeah, came away with a win in the class to Sam, and I had a lot of fun with Sam. That was a really, really cool show. Obviously manifesting the overall again that year. I remember two bros put a photo one of the overall on Instagram, and I shared it saying like, see you tomorrow, or like, you'll be mine tomorrow. And lo and behold, we did win the overall. So we did win this sick wrestling belt. I was buzzing. Like, this is a pretty cool overall thing to win. So we got the sword, got the belt. I don't really know what else there is to win. Thor's hammer maybe. But we won the overall. Very happy with that. Another really good look. I can't think of who was in that overall, and that is totally my bad. But yeah, very happy with that. So that's 2 overalls, 3 class wins with the NPC. So now I'm like, right, I've proven myself now. Like, the pro card is definitely on. Like, so my confidence built. So I remember I got off stage at the race trick, and Jake was like, there's a show in Milan in a week, you know, do you fancy it? And I was like, bearing in mind that wasn't the plan. The plan was the NPC Europeans in London, which was 2 weeks after the regional. So Jake was like, oh, next week there's the pro muscle in Italy, do you fancy it in Milan? I was like, he's like, come on, we're right there. It's a week. I was like, yep, right, screw it, let's do it. Let's go to Milan. I've already competed in Norway. Let's travel the world, have fun, make memories, meet people, like, let's do it. So we booked it, flew out there a week later. Milan, by far my favourite show I've ever done. The Italian people, the Italian culture, Italy as a country, Barbara, who is the promoter out there, the venue, the staff, everything was just phenomenal. The only thing that wasn't phenomenal was my flight getting delayed out of Manchester by 5 hours. So leaving Manchester tarmac at like 12:30 in the morning, getting to Milan at like 4. Jake booking me into the wrong airport, so I had an hour Uber to the apartment, getting into the apartment at 5 in the morning, getting 2 hours sleep, and then going to registration. But it makes for a fun story, and nevertheless, made weight. I know that the Amateur Olympia, which was 4 weeks later in Milan, same venue, their registration time was like 3 hours. Mine was like 20 minutes in, job done, feed straight away. So I had it very fortunate there. Got to train at PumpInParadise gym, which is an unbelievable gym. It's like a museum of gym pieces. I could have been there for hours. It was unreal, but I had a job to do, so just got a pump, unfortunately. And then went into the Milan show, and I was astounded by the level of athlete and how many athletes there were. This show was manic, and it wasn't even an Amateur Olympia either. So the Amateur Olympia is even busier because there's 3 pro cards to win in Classic, and there's only 4 people in an overall. So you have like, what, 75% chance of winning, if my maths is right. So it was a super busy show. My class had 24 athletes. So there was 3 or 4 call outs. So I made top 5, come off stage. I was centre stage in the first call out. Definitely made top 5, so I got to do my routine, which was sick. And then I was stood at the side, top 2, me and a guy from Dubai or Kuwait, I can't remember. He's now pro actually. And he got called second. So yeah, took the win in Italy. So that is another step up now. That is another step up. So I previously had only come second at pro qualifiers. Now I've come first in my class. So that is the next step complete, this is probably my coolest medal, if not the NPC one, but yeah, kind of spoiled that now. So yeah, won my class, went into the overall. The guy who was the pro card winner at the Italy show, so I didn't win my pro card. The guy who won it was a natural athlete, so that was a bit of an ego, not gonna lie, but he was good, he was worthy. There was a lot of traffic come from that show. I felt like I was on everybody's story, like AJ, Bodybuilders Without Borders. There was loads of traffic, people saying like this guy's gonna win, and that never came to fruition. But it is what it is. I had a sick time, really enjoyed it, won my class, just missed out on the overall, made some great memories, job done, Italian job, but didn't come away with what we went for. So in the week after that, NPC Europeans, again, Barbara is the promoter alongside Ian from Two Bros. So this show was like another massive international pro qualifier. People from all over were coming to this one. It was in London, Heathrow Terminal 5. There was pro shows, it was massive. There was like 2-on-2, classic, open, there was pro shows, there was amateurs. It was just a massive weekend. There was people all over. And I knew this was going to be no easy ride. There was 2 pro cards in classic, well, 2 pro cards per class. So obviously you had a 50% chance of winning should you make the overall. So again, coming up against Sam, which was a laugh. It was really cool to be backstage with him. But there was loads of other lads there. I actually met Jeremy, who is my boy from France, now a pro as well. So yeah, went into that show really confident. Like, you need to think now, I have proven myself as an amateur now. I've won all my regionals, I've won 2 overalls, I've now just won a huge class in Italy. So now I'm in London, home soil. Like, this is it. Like, 2 pro cards. If I win my class, I think job done. Like, that was what my mindset was. People call it cocky and arrogant. It wasn't. It was just confidence, and that was the first time I'd felt that confidence, really like that in a lineup in a show. So went out. Tyler Mannion was the head judge. Made first call out. Got pulled into right centre. So if you've got the guy in the middle, centre stage, you've got a guy to his left, and you've got a guy to his right. I was like centre right. So at this point I'm thinking second or third, I'm working, Tyler's working us, and he's just not moving me, and he's only looking at Jeremy in the middle, and then the kid to his right, which was, well, not spoil it, but just all he was looking at was these 2 guys, and I was thinking, like, Tyler, like, give me a look. And the guy to his left was a judge who was in Italy, and he was nudging Tyler, and he was like, look at this kid, and he just wouldn't look at me. Is what it is. Made the top 3 at this point, because what they did is, if I can put a video up, I will. They took Jeremy, the kid to his left, and me off stage. So I definitely made top 3. Cool, made a podium finish. But that wasn't meant to be. So I did get called out for third there. So this is the worst I've ever placed in NPC, besides the Arnold Classic where I got 12th, but we'll pretend that never happened. So this was a shock. This was a massive shock to me, but this is bodybuilding. It is what it is. I've seen people place third and then go on to win the next week's show. So I was just like, you know what, take it on the chin. It was a ride, had a lot of fun, but get me home, like, whatever, move on to the next one. So I placed third at the NPC Europeans. Bit of a knock, but it doesn't stop me, it doesn't slow me down. Like, if anything, again, it just pushed me to be better. So 2 weeks after that, we had the Two Bros France in Metz, which is I think about an hour outside of Paris. It's actually closer to Luxembourg, which I wish I knew when I travelled, because I flew into Paris and then had to pay 120 euros to get a train to Metz. But again, all part of the story. So went to Metz. Also at the London show quickly, Jeremy won the class. So Jeremy is now a pro. He went to the Amateur Olympia in Vegas and won his pro card. A local boy, Liam Watson, I'll give him a shout out. He won the overall. Very, very good. Well done, Liam. Not that it doesn't really matter now because we're like a year later, but it is what it is. So I went to Metz 2 weeks later, went to France. quieter show than the European, quieter show than the Milan. And I'm thinking, right, two bros, Ian's there, they know who I am. Maz is judging. Maz likes my kind of look. France, really chill country. Like, I love France, super nice country. Loads of people going that I know, let's just get after it. So we got to France, super easy, no issues like there was in Italy with delayed flights and blah, blah, blah. The biggest issue was the train, but it is what it is. And I was on my ass. Oh my God. I was on the train and I just turned to Jake and I was like, mate, I am done. Like, I am gassed out. But there was a woman sat like opposite me with a little husky, like a husky puppy. And I was like, right, I'm sound. Like, I seen this dog and I was like, life's good. So competed in Mets. Class was 8 to 10 people again. They worked us and it was a really good show. Ron, who is the promoter of the CPA, so the Canadian Physique Alliance, he was the promoter of that show. Ron put on a brilliant show, really good, really well ran, on time. Bottles of water backstage, fruit, like little things like that make such a difference for athletes, like all the difference. So was worked, had a lot of fun, competed against my boy. I can't remember his name now, that's my bad. I'm sure his Instagram's like iCarus, who is also now pro. Seems to be a theme here. He came second and I took the win. So now that is another win, another W at a pro qualifier. So that is 2 wins at pro qualifiers, with a 3rd and 2 seconds. So doing all right at pro qualifiers. Went into the overall, and this was the first overall where I was like, this is like genuinely it. Like, I felt like I'd won. And it was between me and a good friend now who's called Henry from Germany, who is a very good German classic physique athlete. So it was between me and Henry, and we got worked and worked and worked. Like, I'm not kidding you, 3, 4, 5 rounds. And I could literally hear Maz, and I can't remember who the other judge was. It might have been Bill Sibilia, and they just couldn't pick us. They were like, I could literally hear them say, like, I don't know. Like, and they were pointing, they were pointing, they were pointing. I was thinking, oh my God, like, when are they going to pick? And it went on and on and on. Stood at the side of the stage, and I could feel myself getting like emotional, but like emotional from the standpoint of like, I think this is it. Like, I think this is genuinely going to be it. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Henry took the win, rightly so. Looking at the photos, he was just a lot more dense, mature. But it was super close. And I got off stage, and Ian and Ron both came back at the same time, grabbed me and were like, do not be disappointed. Like, pick your head up. Like, that was super, super close. And that was cool because Ron doesn't know me, Ian does. So maybe if it was just Ian, I'd be like, maybe it's bias. Ron doesn't know me, so there must be something right here. So yeah, that was that season shut down though. I did try to go to the British, but I was just so burnt out. I'd done so many shows, I'd come so close. I was like, travelled a lot. I was like, right, we need to shut this down. So we shut it down for 2024. And then I took an off season, and then I went to compete this year. Those that know. I did go to compete this year. I was actually meant to compete a couple of weeks ago in Germany at the NPC Europeans, but it was in Germany. But about 10 weeks out, I just shut that prep down. Personally, things weren't right. I was forcing a square peg into a round hole. My body wasn't clicking. Things weren't moving. I was having to do more, eat less than normal. It just felt off. Felt like I was just trying to force things. It wasn't right. So at this point, I'd left Jake, done my own thing, and then I'd gone to Hilly Doc. Very, very good, knowledgeable coach. Very under the radar. Unbelievable guy, unbelievable coach, knows his stuff, and people don't even know it. But they will know eventually. But we called it a day. We said, look, let's not force it. Your body is still beat up from prep. Because when I go into an off season, guys, like it's not an off season. It's just a prep, but with more food. It's still as aggressive, still as attentive, still as detailed. My body doesn't get a rest. So I was like, I need to take 2025 off and just be a little bit more normal. Like, longevity in this sport is everything. And this would have been my 3rd season back to back. Now, if I want to keep doing this and do it at a high standard, I need a breather. And I think everybody needs to take something away from that. It doesn't mean going like off the rails. It just means don't be afraid to take some time for yourself. Don't get caught up in the rat race, the social media pressures. Like, do it for yourself. Do it at your own pace. So that's what I did. called it a day. Had a little bit of fun, went to Ibiza for 3 days, went to Amsterdam for a couple of nights to go raving, like just did some normal stuff, man, and still trained super hard, still stick to my diet 110%, like nothing changes, just having a little bit of normality in there. And that leads us to where we are now, which is the biggest, the leanest I've ever been in an off season. I've put on some real good quality density. I am going to struggle to make the weight cap if I am still 5'8". 88 kilos is probably not going to happen. So I am going to have to probably invert myself, probably going to have to try and get that extra centimetre. And if I do, I can beat 91.6 kilos, which is a lot of lean tissue when you put it in lean tissue terms. So yeah, the plan of attack is 2026. June, July time is what I'm thinking. Probably do like the British Pro qualifier, which is in the summertime. At the moment I'm working on my own, but I will be going back with Hilly. We will get a plan together and we'll take over, and I'm excited. But the thing that'll wrap up this video, guys, I've probably like you will find with these videos I'm going to waffle a lot. Like I can talk and talk and talk, but I thought the first one would be good to introduce the YouTube, like who I am, where I've been, what I've done, and where I'm going. And that is 2026 to lock in the IFBB Pro card. I have worked my arse off for it. It's not been a one in and job done type situation. As you can see from all these medals and these overalls, it's been stepping stones, and that's what you guys need to understand. If you're getting into this competitive thing, stepping stones, not jumping the gun. Don't just think IFBB Pro card, IFBB Pro card, IFBB Pro card. Think about, you know, top 3 in a regional, class win, overall, you know, top 3 at a pro qualifier, class win, then you're in my position where you go into the pro card win. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be for everybody. There's going to be people out there that, you know, it's done. 2 shows, 3 shows, unbelievable. But also understand that there's some unbelievable milestones in that journey, and don't forget to enjoy the process along the way. Network, meet people, get your face out there, have fun, get massive. And that's what it's all about. So I'll wrap up there, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry for the rambling, but do not forget, comment, like, subscribe. Been waiting to do that for a minute. All my sponsors and affiliates will be underneath with the links. Links to my coaching will be down below as well. My Instagram will be down below. Big thanks to EningeeredMuscle, Supplements, Raise D, Legends, PumpInParadise for all my gym clothing, and BlackIceAlpha for my posing trunks, which will finally grace the stage again next year. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Peace out. Have a good one.